What's poppin'?
Ooh,
Take two. What's poppin', y'all?
Hey, everybody.
How's it going?
Nothing weird today. Happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month. I hope y'all are celebrating by doing your due diligence.
Are you going to talk to us about community organizing and
well, listen.
I almost said Activision.
Yes, I'm going to talk about Activision and all the video games they've created.
While you're wearing those sunglasses?
Yeah, I think find your local. First, find a community.
Yeah.
Any community.
Learn your neighbors' names. We're not leading by example. I don't know any of my neighbors. Oh my God. We're starting off so rough.
Hi, everyone. My name is John.
I'm Kendra.
And welcome to another edition of Ringside. So, yeah, Kendra wants me to refer to the glasses I'm wearing on my face, but, I shan't.
Oh, we're just not going to talk about it?
Nope.
Oh. Okay, I apologize. I didn't know that was the plan. They're just so bold, unavoidable, that I assumed you would want to talk about them, but we do not have to if you don't want to.
Well, part of me wants to acknowledge them, but another part of me, I like the mystery of it,
The intrigue. What happened? What's going on behind the sunglasses? I know. Do you guys know?
Do you think they want to know?
Probably.
Should I tell
If you
them?
want to know, leave it in the comments. We'll tell you next time.
We'll tell you why. We'll uncover the mystery of why John has the glasses on. Okay.
It's just Keo. Hey guys, don't worry. Our house isn't haunted. It was just Keo coming in.
Anyway, listen. What we should be talking about this week is it's what's been going on for the last week or so. And let's talk about the long week. Not Fury's long week, even though we will be talking about some Marvel Studios stuff.
Yes, coming up.
But it's not Fury's long week. We're talking about Drizzy's long week.
So this
Drizzy
is
Drake.
Yes. So this is kind of coming off the back of a different long week that Drake had last year around May, April. Mm-hmm. Springs aren't good for Drake. So there was that week back in April, May, where we got those constant releases from Kendrick Lamar and Drake back to back. And then Kendrick Lamar obliterated Drake very publicly, very obviously.
Dropping the song of the summer.
Drop the song of the summer. And then fast forward to February 5th. That diss track, that song of the summer, released in this beef.
Record of the year.
Not just that. That song, Not Like Us, won 5 Grammy Awards. The most Grammy Awards of the night. And it won all 5 awards that it was nominated for.
Yup.
And then 7 days after that, forgot. Kendrick Lamar accepted those awards in a Canadian tuxedo, which is denim on denim, if you don't know. And then 7 days after that, literally 7 days after that, Kendrick Lamar performed the Super Bowl halftime show. And everyone in attendance and around the world sang along to his Grammy Award-winning Drake diss track, Not Like Us.
Yeah. Specifically. The
A minor.
A stadium in New Orleans.
Stadium in New Orleans. It's bad. It's really bad for Drake. And it's like a lot of people, myself included, are like, damn, that was a good song. I got to start listening to that one again. Yeah, so kind of dug it out of its, because it had, had its moment.
Yeah.
And then, fall came along and we were like, okay, let's listen to Wicked. Yeah. And then this kind of just.
Now we're back on our bullshit.
Brought it all back up again.
And it was I was at the gym the next day and I shit you not, I've never heard the song in the gym. I don't think I've ever heard the song outside of the internet. As I'm leaving the gym, I hear, Baby, Drizzy.
Oh, yeah.
Baby, Drizzy.
Which is crazy because that's not even a song.
It's not even a fucking song. That shit was so funny.
Yeah. I
was laughing on the way out. And I'm like, I need to get control of myself because
they're going to think I'm crazy.
People are going to look at me.
Yeah.
They're gonna send me off, Yeah.
So, while that was all happening, I guess Drake is in Australia.
He was in Australia. He was in New York. And he's on a grassroots campaign right now, you guys.
Yes.
In Australia, he gifted a fan who brought a sign that mentioned his son in a positive way.
Yeah. Well, I would assume.
He gave them $25,000.
Yeah.
And then in some restaurant, I believe in New York, he and Party Next Door, who I think have a joint album releasing, they were paying people's tabs on Valentine's Day. He's on a grassroots campaign to buy back his fans.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to get him some good press, but when you really look at what he's doing, that's kind of sad.
Here's the thing. I'm always the kind of person who will think, you know what? If the end result is people being helped, I don't really care how disingenuous. And I don't know Drake. He could be very genuine. But I don't really care how disingenuous the intent is if the action is positive.
Listen, if Drake wants to throw us a bag, I'll be a Drake fan.
Well, so those of us who aren't weak-willed will maintain the course. I was giving a presentation to my team. We do like activities every team meeting every week where someone brings in like a topic to discuss. I always make a PowerPoint because I'm a fucking loser. And I like, that's the best way to organize my thoughts. So in the past, during Drake's last long week last year, I made a PowerPoint presentation for my team. I was asked by my manager to bring it back, update the PowerPoint, and run it back, do it again, because we have new teammates. So I did that. And as I was going through this PowerPoint, one of the people who, this is, again, their first impression of me, hey, they were like, oh, you don't sound very unbiased. And I was like, I never said I was.
Right.
I never said I was. But yeah, it doesn't matter now what Drake does because his actions back then and the lawsuit now, you can't come back from that.
No.
At least not for a while. Maybe with some time and like a really good song that's not about the beef at all.
Right.
Don't bring attention to the fact that you lost that so bad.
I don't think he's going to. Here's the thing. I don't think he's going to get over it. I think this album he's got with Party Next Door is going to be a fun little distraction for him. I don't think he's over it. And I don't think he's going to let it go.
I don't care if internally it's like all he thinks about at night. We need to work on the public perception and the outside.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if it bugs you, but like for your own sake, move on. And he kind of tried to do that right at the end. If you remember, he was like talking about like, sorry if you heard that was our cat. I think he mentioned like, it was really, it was good to get the pen working again. Like something like that. Or like it made us both money. I could be misremembering. Maybe I'm thinking of what I hoped he would say at the time.
Listen, he's a fucking square.
Oh my gosh.
I don't fucking care. I don't care. He's having it's just more fun for me.
I think these glasses are turning you into a different person, a more aggressive
Heel
person.
John. He's personified.
Yeah. But I mean, we'll see. I thought that this whole thing was dead and buried a long time ago. And it appears it is not. New year, same people. So we'll see what happens in the future. Don't worry if anything more in this beef does occur.
This is your number one source.
We will report on it a week after it happens.
That's right. Anywho, yeah, love that. It was great. My just nasty work in the span of 7 days.
Yeah.
Really quick, I want to touch on a couple things happening in the world of WWE. Well, this first one's it's not really the world of WWE.
Unfortunately, it's not WWE
but
anymore.
it is. It's funny and sad. But let's just get it out of the way. Linda McMahon is having her congressional hearings before she's sworn in as the Secretary of Education. Our president. Not Elon Musk.
Not my president.
The other one.
Your president.
Yeah, he selected Linda McMahon from,
WWE
as his Secretary of Education pick. And you know what is kind of crazy? You know who is in the audience behind her? Triple H. If you look at the videos, yeah, he's just,
you know what?
He's there.
I did see that because I saw him. Someone took like a really close up, like zoomed in clip of him. And he was drinking water and he like held it in his mouth for a little bit. And the caption was like, he's holding back with everything he has. Like he's trying so hard not to do it. And like his theme music's just playing in the background. And I did think that was funny, but I didn't realize that's what that's from. Why was he there?
I have no clue. And that's why it got me thinking, well, hang on. What if the 2024 election is one big work by Triple H?
It's a WrestleMania.
It's a WrestleMania 45.
You know what, John?
Long-term storytelling.
I'll say what I say when people have like these crazy conspiracy theories. Sometimes reality just sucks and we can't WWE storyline our way out of it, unfortunately. How much I would love for that to be true.
She gets out of the chair and hits,
somebody.
He who must not be named.
We got two people.
In the family jewels.
Yeah.
Run it back.
And then what? And then what happens? And then she goes to prison.
And it saves our country.
I don't understand how, but sure.
Anyway.
But yeah, it's just a very weird reality warp to hear about any McMahon.
Near the White House.
Near. And I think she was in his cabinet before.
Yeah. So,
but just not in such an important role that she's completely unqualified for.
Right.
That's everybody in his cabinet, isn't it? Not to get too political.
Right. Here's my thing, and we'll end it with this. It's weird. It's weird that we have two people, one of them being the leader of the country, essentially, and they both had like their own WrestleMania moments. It's really weird. And I'm not saying that anyone who goes to WrestleMania is automatically unqualified for any job.
But it's bizarre that it's happened multiple times.
Right. Like it's just weird to think about.
Yeah.
Though, listen, if let's just say if one day, and I don't think this should happen, if one day maybe The Rock or Cody Rhodes, the politician that he is,
Cody Rhodes
ran and won the presidency.
Oh God.
It would be really funny the next time they do show up on WWE and they're like,
they have Secret Service,
4-time heavyweight champion and former United States president.
That would be really fucking funny. And they have like actual, not Bustelo just jumped on my desk.
Oh my God.
I apologize. And Kio's behind me. Like literal Secret Service walked them down. You know how Goldberg has those security guards?
Right.
It's like that, but with like taxpayer funded Secret Service.
Yeah.
That could be really funny. Or horrifically dystopian.
Yeah. Listen, there's only one president from the WWE that we acknowledge as our United States president, and that's President Chelsea Green.
Yes, President Green. Could you stop sneezing?
Sorry, our cats have chosen violence.
Well, here's the thing, and it's actually quite sweet. We just got back from being out and about for like most of the day, so I think they just want to be near us, which is so sweet. But like they're climbing all over shit, and Bustelo's sneezing everywhere, and he's gross. He doesn't cover his mouth.
Anyway, we're on an interesting path to WrestleMania 41. It's cool that we have all these big names involved and all these like, the guys around. It does pose an interesting problem over who's going to main event, and not every like. I'm not of the belief that you're any less of a star if you're in the main event or not.
Right.
I think the race is more, and maybe it's like this internally. We don't like to speak too much of the business side of things. I know canonically everyone wants the main event.
Right.
Like, I get that. But I imagine the race is to actually get onto the WrestleMania card. Like, that's the thing people want.
Think that's like the big accomplishment is just saying that you were in a WrestleMania.
Right. So it's just interesting. Like the chamber matches I'm very much looking forward to. Mm-hmm. But like, we can't have all these guys. And we've got one presumable main event, which would be Jey Uso and Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, again, we've seen championship matches not be main events before.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be. But I would feel kind of fucked up if they didn't give him a main event.
I just feel like, and that's like what was promised.
Right.
It wasn't a WrestleMania match. It was the main event.
Right.
I feel like we're promising too many main events.
Right. It's going to be main event WrestleMania.
And that's what I fear is going to be happening. They're going to be like 2 nights, 2 main events each night,
right.
which is meaningless.
Right.
They've tried this in the past and I hated it then too.
5 main events.
2 main events means 2 matches towards the end. It doesn't mean anything anymore. But that's the only way I can see them. Because, like, what happens if, like, John Cena doesn't win Elimination Chamber? He doesn't get a WrestleMania main event his last WrestleMania?
Right.
Last for now. What about The Rock and Roman Reigns? What's going to happen with that? Is that delayed another year?
I think so. I don't think we're getting that this year.
There's so much.
I don't think we're getting that this year, but
yeah. There's just so much possibility.
But like Roman Reigns not in the main event at WrestleMania?
It feels weird. And it felt weird that he wasn't that he was in the
Royal Rumble.
The Royal Rumble felt bizarre.
Yeah.
Below him even.
Because
I'm just kidding.
I can see them doing, like on paper, Roman and Seth, that could be a main event at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Roman, Seth, and Punk could be a main event at WrestleMania. Do you move them to the top of the card for a Gunter Jey Uso? And I'm not shitting on those guys.
Not knocking on him.
Not at all.
Not knocking on him. But yeah, that would feel bizarre.
Right. So yeah, we're in an interesting
we'll see.
path, I think.
And with that in mind, going into Elimination Chamber on the men's side, I'm like, John Cena has to win, right?
He's
got to win, right? I thought he was going to win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Poo-poo on my face, apparently.
Now, I mean, there's some interesting theories out there that, his personal story is working through all the losses, that he's amassed over the years. So I think winning some matches are going to be too predictable. I think him winning the Royal Rumble would have been. I think that would have actually felt more like, oh, they handed it to him because it's his last one. So I'm here for the John Cena storyline.
Yeah.
But
I also like, because he's so rarely ever like it's not arrogant, but for him to be like, I'm gonna be in this match because all the work I've done up to this point grants me access to this match. It's so John Cena like.
It's very Final Boss.
It's very Final Boss-esque. But and then that's a way to get him in without him having to be here to do all these qualifying matches. Right. And also give fodder for people who are like, he just walked his way in, didn't he? So yeah, it's very interesting. I will say, like, with all of this main event talk and how things are looking, the matches that we have and the participants we have so far, I will say it's hard to like predict what's going to happen, which is kind of nice. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Speaking of main events, we're only a couple weeks away from the Elimination Chamber. And on SmackDown, who do we have returning? Trish Stratus.
Beep.
And we figured she would be a little more active since she was in the Royal Rumble. Yeah. They're doing this 25 years of Trish thing right now. And we see her. She talks about how it's in her Elimination Chambers in her hometown. So, like, we were connecting the dots. Like, she's going to be... We were thinking maybe she would be in the Elimination Chamber match because, again, she had initially retired at a time where the women didn't get to do any of these kinds of matches. They got bras and panties matches. They got the strap matches. Like, cool. What a time, But... it was cool to see her do like Money in the Bank. It was cool to see her have her cage match. Like I thought it would have been cool to have her in the Elimination Chamber match.
I agree.
Now, granted, maybe she didn't want to do it, and I can completely understand that.
That's fair.
She, she's got her kids, and she got the shit beat out of her when she was in that cage match. So like, I don't blame her.
Yeah.
Maybe she did want something a little more low key. But if that wasn't the case, I'm like, man, what could have been?
Yeah, and I do kind of hope that she eventually does come back long enough to get a chance at the women's U.S. championship. And we have another one, right?
Intercontinental.
Oh, I didn't know if that's what it was called. But yeah, the women's Intercontinental Championship. These things that she had no chance.
Yeah.
Because they just existed last year for the first time. So I would like to see her be able to like at least compete for those things.
Right.
And maybe become like a Grand Slam champion.
That'd be fucking cool. I mean, and we were saying when she was on her last run in WWE, she was, I think that whole feud she had with Becky Lynch, super underrated. Yeah. I think she was super underrated being back in the ring. Yeah, I thought, especially when you consider that specific feud got the shaft all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Matches being cut short or being canceled on the fly. Like, but no, they tore the house down with that cage match they had.
Yeah.
So anyway, happy to see Trish back. Happy to see her in the PLE, but I do wish it was in the actual chamber match.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of cool to see her compete for one of those titles too. But I get it. I'm not one of those.
I'll take what I can get.
I'm sorry?
I'll take what I can get.
Exactly. Hey, listen, I'll take any Trish I can get. And you know what we'll say? Thank you, Trish.
Trish. It's Trishy time. Thank you.
It is Trishy time.
Yeah.
But not right now, because now we're diving right into what you all came for. We just got out of the movies. We just saw the return of the MCU, Captain America, Brave New World. And you know what? I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, we're going to give spoiler free first impressions.
First impressions, and then I think we could talk some spoilies.
We'll leave those to the end, just in case you haven't seen it yet, because it's been out for a day. Yeah, I agree. I did like it. I heard rumblings of like critic dissatisfaction. Is that a word?
Dissatisfactory. Critics didn't like it. Some critics
didn't like it. And it's always so hard to like hear that and not let it affect. I didn't like deep dive read any of those. I don't like reading reviews for that reason. But in the back of my head, as I'm sitting down, I was like, man, I heard that critics didn't like it. Don't listen to critics. I say it all the time. Don't listen to critics. Don't listen to people. Don't listen to us. Go see stuff for yourself.
Yeah. I want to add to that.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we're giving a review, sort of. That's why even most of the time in our notes, I'll put it as like thoughts and reaction, because this truly is just like how we enjoyed the movie, and how we consume media might be very, very different than how other people see things,
right,
view things, and react to things. So like, yes, we hope you enjoy what we say and like how we present this information, but it very much is our opinion. Anyway, I'm sorry.
But yeah, I coming out of the other side of it, I thought it was really good. Not really, really good, but
no, it's not, it doesn't get a really liked it, but you know.
I feel bad for Anthony Mackie and for my people because I feel like he got saddled with a movie that had to do so much heavy lifting just to bring people up to speed.
Yeah.
The movies and the reference material you had to watch before this movie primarily are two things that people didn't like or are very fucking old. So like The Incredible Hulk, 2008's The Incredible Hulk,
and 2021's Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Nobody watched Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it was kind of a mess. Again, we've given our review on that show in the past, but
plenty of times.
Its mess wasn't fully its own fault. It was COVID related, and that really fucked a lot of shit up. And then The Incredible Hulk is like the only MCU movie I haven't seen more than once, because who cares?
I like that movie.
And it was so long ago. It's like the only other MCU movie that old is Iron Man. I watch Iron Man annually. So like it's a lot.
It feels like more than annually.
It is more than annually. I didn't want to say that. But yeah, I watch it all the time. But it's just a lot to the first like 10 minutes of the movie felt like exposition, backstory, like we need to get you up to speed quick before we can move on, because you don't know who half of this cast is.
Right.
And I feel bad because it's like a lot of these other, like we didn't have to do that as much in the Captain America First Avenger, in Iron Man. Granted, these are completely like brand new everything that you're getting used to. But I feel like Sam Wilson's Captain America was just like the transition wasn't as smooth as I feel like it should have been.
Sure.
And it makes me feel very sad because, again, not trying to make this like too political or preachy or anything like that. But when like movies catered towards us don't do well, it's indicative in studios' eyes that we're not showing up for these movies.
Right.
So we don't need to be catered to anymore.
Right.
So our movies have to be even better so people actually go watch them.
Right. But but here's the thing. This is the time we live in, and just the toxicity that is online. This is another reason why we say don't listen to other people's opinions to form your opinions for you, because we have such an issue with just rage bait culture and people who are going to hate just to hate. You also have, unfortunately, the people who exist who will not accept, black and brown heroes on screen, or replacing, traditionally white characters, and they're going to voice their opinion.
Yeah.
So even if you have a movie like Black Panther that is nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. One of the only superhero, if not the only superhero movie to do that. All of a sudden, it's still not good enough. So like, you know, I would take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Personally.
All that being said, I enjoyed it, which is the point of going to see a movie. It was definitely better than Falcon and Winter Soldier by a lot. And I think where it really shined is the action sequences. It felt like a return to form, which I think a lot of people thought the movie was going to be like a return to that old school phase 1 and 2 Marvel universe. And it did feel like that for the most part. There was a lot of like references to other stuff, but it still felt like a grounded, not an Avengers level threat.
At least
not yet.
At least not the entire way through. And then, you know, but I'll get to more of my thoughts as we get to spoiler territory. Yeah, I agree. I thought the movie was pretty damn good. You know, I will say it's not my favorite movie I've ever seen, but I did enjoy it a lot, and I agree. I think we're gonna see this for the next couple of movies that specifically reference the Disney Plus shows, because the Disney Plus shows were an experiment that I don't think were as fruitful as Disney, the conglomerate under Chapek, wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Not everyone was tuning in. And there was also a big experiment to see how well original programming on streamers can do.
Right.
And for Marvel, it wasn't the secret sauce. Domino effect of like everyone being stretched out super thin, overworked, underpaid.
Mm-hmm. And we were overloaded with shows.
So it was, I think, impossible for them to give the most quality. I think a lot of that stuff is overhated. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, I think the movie, again, I agree with you. I think it shines in the action sequences, which were really freaking cool. Mm-hmm. I actually think the acting performances across the board, solid. I think where the issue, and I thought the visual effects were great. I don't think, I read one place that mentioned CGI. I think where you see those type of visual effects issues is it actually has more to do with the reshoots, which every big budget movie has reshoots. So I'm not faulting this movie for having that as well. But I also think that it was very apparent in the script and in the pacing of the story, because you had your exposition, you could feel where they kind of had to like insert things in, and you know, that was a little, you know, apparent watching it as the movie went on. It got more and more apparent. And again, I'm not faulting. They worked their asses off to make what I still consider a pretty good movie. Yeah. I enjoyed it. It's definitely something I will watch again. I do think it's a good return to form, especially when you consider how much people were just not on board with the MCU for a hot minute there.
Yeah. Which
again, I still maintain a lot of that stuff was overhated. But I like how it referenced a lot of stuff kind of tying up. I think part of the mission of this movie was actually to tie up a lot of the Disney Plus loose ends.
Yeah. And the Eternals.
Yeah. And the Incredible Hulk. So it did have a lot to do, which I also think distracted from Sam and his journey as Cap.
Which I get, because technically we got Sam Wilson becoming Captain America. We got that origin story in the show that no one watched.
So they kind of had to do it again, though, for people who didn't watch the show.
In a way that wasn't like completely redundant.
Right.
Or it's more like, you know how like the Batman is like year 2 Batman?
Yeah.
It was like year 2 Captain America, where he's still struggling with it, but he's like more comfortable, and we don't have to see him go through the whole thing again.
Now, for the sake of celebrating the man, I'm also very happy for Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
Because we're not talking about how his real name's Clarence, and Clarence's parents had a real good marriage. It's an 8 Mile reference.
Oh, is his real name Clarence?
No, it's a line from 8 Mile in the final battle.
Okay. Was he in 8 Mile?
Yes.
Oh, girl.
Why the fuck would I bring up 8 Mile?
John, imagine my shock. I had no fucking clue what you were talking about. I thought
he played Papa Doc, and his real name was Clarence.
Okay.
And Clarence's parents had a real good marriage.
Well, I'm glad for them. I've never seen that movie, and how would I know that?
It's a pretty good movie. Anyway, I want to celebrate Anthony Mackie because, like, what he has done with the character Sam Wilson, I don't know, like, he is Captain America. Like, he is Captain America. And I, without getting spoilery, I love that what he brings to Sam is so different. It makes him such a different Captain America, whether he's in the way they use him in action sequences with the shield, the way he, I don't know.
When he was interacting with Ross directly and he was like...
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. It brought out a whole different side of what it means to be Captain America that I thought was like really, really cool. And there were really, really subtle. They're really subtle, but there was some pretty strong messaging in there.
Oh, yeah.
That I think a lot of people, hopefully a lot of people who see this movie will walk away with. I'm already seeing some people who are like complaining about certain things, but I'm like, you're always going to get those people that complain about.
People are going to complain about everything.
No, yeah. So
it wasn't shoehorned. I think that was our main critique for a lot of the stuff we've seen in prior films.
No, this was,
it wasn't shoehorned. It was very organic.
Harrison Ford
was great.
He was awesome.
Was great. Everyone was great.
The acting was not the problem.
No. And I really want to highlight, I didn't realize how much Joaquin Torres, New Falcon, we were going to get in this movie. You can't glare at me with the sunglasses on. I'm so pleasantly surprised by how much of him we got for multiple reasons. But
the man's fine.
But also, him and Sam, that like chemistry is so good. I love it. It's like, it's perfect. It's kind of a similar vibe to Sam and Steve, but also not, because I don't know. It's just, I think it highlights again what you were saying. Like, this man is not Steve Rogers. This isn't your grandma's Captain America.
Yeah, true. It's not. I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
But yeah, my one critique that I told you about as we were leaving, the character of Ruth.
Sabra in the comics, but they I think she's listed that way in the casting, but they did not. They never referenced to her that way.
And I know that has a lot of controversy. The inclusion of the character, the casting of the specific actor. Ignore Kyo behind me. I don't know everything involved with all of that. Right. I just know that it was like a lot of controversy. But I just think the character's inclusion was not necessary. I think they were trying to be like,
and same with Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, I did mention that too. But I think he makes more sense to me than her. I think they included her as Captain America's Black Widow.
Right.
And it didn't work for me. I mean, we never really got to see her do any kind of action, but like,
we already have a new Black Widow.
But she's busy. But I don't know. I don't think that we need it. I think it just added like another confusing layer that we didn't need to have.
Because she was, at one point, and this is minor. We're getting into minor story things. Minor. But there's a moment in the movie where Sam and Joaquin are investigating, and they discover something, and literally the next shot was she was discovering the same thing at the same time. What are we doing?
Her character and that agent, like Thaddeus Ross's like his bestie, his agent. You could have combined those characters into one.
Yeah.
And we would have been fine.
Yeah. So
I just don't understand and you know what? Maybe her role was supposed to be a lot different and a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And after all the backlash, they dwindled it down.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I mean, and you know, it was fine. It was fine. But you're right. You could have cut her out the movie, and you wouldn't have missed much. And again, I'm not shitting on the actor. I'm not.
Performances were fine.
Right.
Performances were not the issue.
Giancarlo Esposito he was also. I mean, he's great in everything. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not the issue. But it was just funny because there was even a few moments with him where it's just like. Just to keep the story going, just to keep the ball rolling in this film.
Yeah.
Because he was put into the movie, I think, last year.
Yeah.
And then we were all very surprised that, like, oh, there's already a trailer with a lot of him in it.
Yeah.
So it's like they went straight from the fucking editing room and put out a trailer.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was good. I hope we get to see him do more.
The way that they left spoilers.
Yeah.
The way that they left off that character, if they don't have plans now, they're definitely leaving the door open. I feel like once you have Giancarlo in your franchise, you better use him.
Right.
So maybe we'll see that his organization pop up again. Again, once you have you've established this organization of hired killers. What are they, hitmen?
I'm not super familiar with the Serpent Society.
Would ever give up.
But you know, maybe
Use them.
Hey, maybe once they figure out Armor Wars, maybe he can show up there.
Yeah.
You know, who knows? But all I do know is that he's great. He was great in this, even though he wasn't in it very, very much.
Yeah.
But he made it count.
It's true.
Now, of course, we mentioned him before. Are we getting into spoilers?
I think now we can get into some spoilers.
This is your spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. If for nothing else, to go see this movie, this part isn't the spoiler, but the sequence with the Red Hulk at the end there,
solid. Too short. I feel like I wanted more.
I could have. Hey, but listen, that's a testament to how well they were doing everything. Yeah. He was fucking cool.
He was cool.
And he was a product, as we learned throughout the movie, of the leader. We have Dr. Samuel Stearns making his grand return from the 2008's Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
And again, he was great. He was great in this movie.
That guy, it's weird because when I see him, I think Kimmy Schmidt.
Right. Kimi.
But then he was very evil man in this one. Yeah. It's very bizarre.
He was in
he's been in so much.
The Watchmen series. He was great in that too.
He's been in so much stuff.
Tim Blake Nelson.
Yes.
What a guy.
I'm trying to see if there's anything else of note. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I haven't seen it.
The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Okay. He's been in a lot of shit. But most notably, I think everyone would know him most from Kimmy Schmidt.
I don't think that's true.
I think that might be true. He was great in it.
He was great in Kimmy Schmidt.
He was great in Kimmy Schmidt too. I would like to talk about Carl Lumley.
Who?
Okay, Isaiah Bradley. If you haven't seen The Falcon and Winter Soldier, Buscella is scratching if you see the camera shaking. I can't watch things sad about black people. I can't do it. I watched 12 Years a Slave once. Oh my God.
You ever see Fences?
Hold on. My mic disconnected.
God
have
damn.
I ever seen have I ever seen Fences? No. Specifically because I had to watch 12 Years a Slave for an assignment for school in college. If I can control it, I'm not watching it. I think the closest I got willingly to seeing something sad happening to a black person.
Forrest Gump.
Oh my God, no, that one wasn't willing either. I think you made me watch that.
Such a good movie though.
No, I'm never watching it again. Holes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, guys, I can't do it. Falcon and Winter Soldier made me watch sad stuff happening to black people, namely Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah.
And this movie made me see it happen again. Isaiah Bradley is my dad in 10 years.
Yeah.
And you said it first before me. They look kind of alike. They act kind of alike. I can't see bad things happen to that man. He was so confused.
He was so sweet. I know.
He was brainwashed, and then he said, "What happened?" Oh no.
I know.
I can't talk about it anymore.
Anyway,
so
you brought it up.
God, it's so sad. Anyway, and he's fine, and he's gonna sue the government and get a lot of money out of that.
Yeah.
He was falsely imprisoned again for like a week.
fucking truly.
He needs.
Yeah, that was a rough one. But again, what a guy, what an actor.
Yeah, he's really good.
Carl Lumley.
He's really good at making me sad.
I know. And yeah, this movie did really cool things with they only call him the buyer. They never call him the leader.
They never called him the leader. I didn't even know that was his name.
Yeah. But it was cool. It was cool to have this sort of like pseudo sequel to the 2008's Incredible Hulk. I actually liked the conspiracy part of it, of him conspiring to frame.
That's cool.
Yeah, I saw some
that.
folks saying that storyline didn't work, and I was like, it worked. It looked all right.
I liked it, and I think that's a lot of people also didn't like Iron Man.
Talking about things other people didn't like.
Iron Man 3, and it reminded me of that a little bit, where they're like, there's this fake terrorist that they just like created, and it kind of reminded me of that, and I appreciated that storyline too. I thought that was fun.
Here's the thing. Having a underground government rogue agent pitting two governments against one another and nearly breaking out a war, yeah, that shit scares me.
Because
that's not of all these Avengers movies, of all these superhero movies.
A little bit too close. He sneezed?
Yeah, he sneezed all over my shit.
Jesus Christ.
He said, "You need some too."
Jinx. I also like the mind control aspect of it, because that was really, I feel like it would have been cool to play with this a little bit longer, at least to where the audience knew what was happening fully. Just like being in a room and being like, who's mind controlled and who's not right now. That's fucking scary.
Yeah.
It was kind of like what Secret Invasion should have been, where it's like, I don't know who's bad and who's not at any time. I love that. And
it's also for a villain, for them to be like, yeah, he wasn't made any stronger, but instead he's got a big old fucking brain.
Too big.
And he, again, almost started World War III, basically.
From what I believe is like his equivalent to prison.
Right.
He was in a cell.
Yeah.
And he still managed to do all that shit.
Right.
Yeah, he's crazy.
That's pretty crazy.
My question is, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You know how like when babies are born and their skull hasn't fully developed and closed, and they have that fontanelle soft spot, and everyone's like, don't press on that because it's just skin and brain. His brain was outside his skull. So surely when they were taking him onto the ground to arrest him, like, what if someone was just like, it could have killed him?
I mean, they could have, but
my thing is,
don't call me Shirley.
Is his brain weak physically? Can I poke it? Because they say it's like tartare, right? Like beef tartare. Could someone just...
I mean, he still has skin over his brain. It's being kept in by something.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems like, I feel like I would wear a helmet.
You sound like those fucking people that were next to me that were like, "Oh, Harrison Ford didn't lose his pants."
And listen, I mean, I don't think here's the thing. I don't think they were trying to kill him. But if they did, just poke a finger in his brain. I would wear a helmet if I was him. That's what I'm saying.
I think he does have some sort of apparatus. He was wearing a hat. He wore a hoodie.
He was wearing a hat and a hoodie. Yeah, that's going to save him. Let's see what the leader wears.
I think he has something to control his freaking brain.
Oh my God, no, it's just raw. Ew, it's huge and green. You know what? Actually, what we got is way more disgusting than what he's got going on. Yeah,
he was all fucked. But another cool thing, and a lot of people were speculating this, and we got it confirmed. So the catalyst for all of this was that on Celestial Island, love that name.
Love that name. Babe.
On Celestial Island, they've discovered a new element stronger than vibranium. They've introduced adamantium to the MCU proper. The sacred timeline now houses adamantium, which is really, really cool. Obviously, if you are unfamiliar, adamantium, that's the metal that is grafted to the bones, the skeleton of one Logan Wolverine. Okay?
You don't know his last name?
Howlett.
Howlett?
Yeah.
Never heard that once.
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought it was Paul.
Oh God, he's got that's titanium. He's got in his hand, not adamantium.
Jesus. What else is besides any like Wolverine or Wolverine spinoff? What else is made of adamantium?
Oh, I'm not that good.
Oh,
I'm good. I'm not that good.
I didn't know if there was something like
It's most famous for that being the Wolverine and just kind of in the X-Men comics. But
Yeah.
the in the MCU, they're claiming that it's more indestructible than vibranium.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting way to put it, because, you know, if you have Ultron, who was trying to get a hold of all that vibranium, you have all these other people trying to get a hold of this vibranium. If the United States government has access to adamantium,
Yeah.
that's not good.
Yep. Okay. Ultron's outer shell in the comic books was also adamantium. Wolverine, Sabretooth, Bullseye, most of Bullseye's skeleton, Lady Deathstrike, Cyber, X-23, the Russian, just the Russian. Okay.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, interesting. But yeah, I think this is definitely like, it was a good reveal.
Yeah.
And also like, okay, new thing to worry about. This falling into the wrong hands or falling into the right hands, and what that means going forward.
Yeah, because I know some people are speculating that after the multiverse saga is when we're really gonna dive into this unofficial mutant saga of the MCU, which
Yeah.
I think, honestly, I wouldn't be mad at if all of the stuff we'd gotten from the MCU or we get from the MCU is like X-Men mutant related, because I feel like there's so much that we could do for so long. I wouldn't be upset by that. But it is a really cool way to start laying the foundation of that. Because remember, Deadpool and Wolverine, those two guys are not in the sacred timeline. They're not in, you know, even though it's not really 616, but in 616, you know, they're not there. So we don't have a Wolverine as of right now that we know of in our proper MCU, right? So
Can I ask a question about that?
yes, of course.
So when Deadpool went and saw Happy,
Remember he had the little thing.
so he went to a different universe?
Yeah.
Oh, that's even more sad. He's like, I got to go to a different universe to ask.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah,
and then he
was-
just hopped back to his own.
At least that's how I took it.
Okay. I don't remember what was his universe.
I don't remember the name of it. There is a name for it, but I don't remember what it is. But yeah, they're not in 616 because it specified that he was on Earth 616 when he was speaking to Happy.
Earth 10005. Does that sound right?
Sure. I've seen the movie.
That's the Fox universe.
Well, then that would make sense because
Does that make sense?
that's where
Okay.
Deadpool took place.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
So, yeah, because and then in Across the Spider-Verse, they refer to the MCU as Earth 19999 or whatever.
Yeah. Why do they do that? I feel like
Because it probably makes more sense than because 616 is the comics.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry, that's getting real sweaty, you know. But it's been so we don't have a Wolverine, or at least we don't have a Wolverine with adamantium on his fucking bones. I know it was getting real dark in here.
It's getting dark in here. Yeah.
So it'll be cool, and I mean that poses a whole new question: do we get eventually? Or, as much as I love Hugh Jackman and I want to see him do the part forever and ever and ever, eventually we're gonna have to get a new Wolverine.
And this would be a really good opportunity, because I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of these new heroes are looking 20s.
They're getting younger and younger,
not 50s.
Yeah, but
So I don't know.
he also probably doesn't want to do it very much longer either.
I wouldn't. He didn't.
He's gonna have to keep getting jacked. They're just
Yeah.
gonna tell him like, hey man, you're gonna have to bulk up again.
I wouldn't want to do that anymore. But yeah, it's like a really good. I do like the approach that they're taking with the story of mutants in the MCU, at least so far, which has been very slowly. I want little Easter eggs. I want to hear Kamala. Damn. That was rough. That year when one was pronounced one way and one was pronounced a different way. Kamala Khan. I want to hear her say it in her show once.
They did.
I know. And then I want to not hear anything about it for a while.
We saw at the post credits of the Marvels, we saw Homegirl get stuck in another universe. Beast saved her.
Yes.
Haven't heard since.
I like that. Let's take our time. Now we get adamantium.
Professor X getting killed by Wanda Maximoff.
True. I forgot about that.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's just like sprinkled here and there.
I like the sprinkling until, because again, it's like you can't fuck up the X-Men. Once they're here, once mutants are here, you got to take your time and do that right. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm interested in seeing how they're going to do it. I wonder if for like Secret Wars, not that I'm not saying I want this, but I wonder if they'll use that as an opportunity to bring back some of the Fox X-Men actors, but also introduce like the new X-Men. I don't know, like maybe that's a lot of heavy lifting to do for that movie, for one movie, you know. So I don't know, we'll see. But yeah,
I have another question.
Yes.
Sorry. Who turns Wolverine into Wolverine?
The government. So it's a.
So you're telling me the U.S. government in this movie, Captain America: Brave New World, is trying. I don't know if successfully. No, because Japan had the signed the treaty at the end. They created a treaty to equally share the adamantium, right? That they mine from Celestial Island. So now at the end of this movie, the United States government has adamantium. And you're telling me that the U.S. government did that to Wolverine?
Yeah, because there's Project X.
Yes.
Project X, and that's where
they did that
not Project X. That's a fucking movie. That's a movie about partying. Weapon X. The Weapon X program is what, you know.
Is he X1? Because weren't there a bunch? Didn't they make a bunch? And that's why one of them's X-23?
Yeah. I'm not that good. I'm good. I'm not that good.
Make a bunch of
but
them.
Also, this is what's interesting. In 2008's The Incredible Hulk, when they're like investigating some of the government shit, there's basically it's a small Easter egg reference to the Weapon X program. There, obviously, they couldn't call it that because because it was they weren't.
Yeah, that was very much Fox territory.
But. So, I mean, it's not out of the possibilities because that's just them trying to recreate the super soldier serum.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they continue, hey, Harrison Ford, if you got him, you got to use him, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they made that connection again.
Interesting.
But, so there is a lot that this movie did in terms of, like, wrapping up or tying off loose ends.
Yeah.
Whether you think that's, you know...
done well
or not. That's subjective. Yeah, you're right. But there also is some cool stuff that they're setting up. I think our favorite thing, it sounds like, that they set up has been the use of, you know, adamantium just in the MCU. Obviously we haven't seen it in play yet.
Right.
But just knowing that it's there and, you know, it's something that can give our characters who have this upper hand with vibranium kind of something to be like a little weary of.
My Wakandans, no.
Our Wakandan kings and queens.
Also, I love that the Wakandans are just like, yeah, here, have this armor. We made you this armor. We made you this suit. You're welcome. They did it for Bucky. They did it for...
they only do it for the real ones.
Yeah.
They're not giving...
like Bucky and Sam. And Joaquin did ask, maybe, hey, if you can hook me up. I think they would do it for him.
I think so too. See, I also really like the interplay I like the interplay that those two have together. It's so fun. They're so fun.
Really good.
So overall, just to wrap up our thoughts, again, I don't know if I can go as far as saying that I really, really like this movie, but I do like this movie. I think it's pretty damn good. I think it's a fun watch, and I think for what it does in terms of setting up a new generation of Avengers is pretty exciting. And I think the world building they do, again, maybe the road we take is a little bumpy at some points, in terms of, dialogue or just weird pacing of the script. It's not awful. Maybe it's a bit of a bumpy ride.
Yeah.
But I like what they're setting up. I love Anthony Mackie as Captain America. Yeah. I think, man, again, if for nothing else, if you are just a fan of action and you want some cool action scenes, it's worth the price of admission. And this is my last thought on Anthony Mackie as Cap. The thing that I was trying to get to before without getting too spoilery, I saw some folks not love that he talked down the Red Hulk with a speech. That's how he beat him. That. And I do, but I like that. To me, that's the essence of what separates him from Steve Rogers or any other super soldier, is that our first introduction to Sam was as a counselor.
Yeah.
And just the power of connecting and spoken word. I don't know. Like, to me, that feels like Sam Wilson, Captain America. And so I actually really liked that. I can understand wanting more action, especially because even though that scene I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been mad if it was a little longer too.
And I don't think people would be so upset with it being resolved with a conversation if it had been longer before that conversation took place.
Right. Because I think they did Red Hulk immaculately well.
Red Hulk looks so good.
He looked great. Just he was fucking shit up.
He was
the score for the Red Hulk chasing that whole it was just great. It was such a great moment in the movie. It was my favorite moment of the movie. Mm. But I think Sam just being able to connect with people, and then we see him do it again with Ross Proper, with Joaquin, with Isaiah, like just these one-on-ones. I'm like, this is the Captain America that we need right now.
This is where he operates.
Also, Liv Tyler cameo.
That was crazy.
Liv Tyler returning to the MCU.
When they showed her picture in the beginning, I was like, there's no way, because they would have had to license her likeness for that. There's no way she's like not going to be in this in some capacity, even like as a flashback or something. So seeing her there was so cool.
That was cool.
Do you think she'll stick around?
I sure hope so. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a one and done deal.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either.
Same for Harrison Ford. Even though he was so great in this movie, I really would love to see him back.
I feel like he would come back.
Yeah.
Because if he ever came back, it would not be in this capacity where it's like, you're in most of this movie.
Right.
I think he would just come back for
I'm hoping to see him in Thunderbolts.
I feel like it's goddamn named after him.
I'd love to see him in Thunderbolts. They need a Hulk.
You think he's going to be in? Oh my God.
Holy shit. Imagine dropping a bowling ball on your desk.
He's a goddamn 30 pounds.
Get him down.
Yeah, he's fine.
Anyway.
Do I think that he's going to be part of the Thunderbolts?
I think if they got him, I think they could get him for a good 30 minutes of the movie.
Hey, buddy, I don't think so. I don't think so.
That could be kind of cool.
I think he's gonna be held in the raft.
But listen, it'd be pretty cool.
But I do think he'll come back eventually somehow. And like I said earlier, like it wasn't an Avengers level threat. Red Hulk not being able to be talked down, that's an Avengers level threat. That's fucking crazy.
I mean, listen, on top of the White House, next with the American flag in the background.
Yeah. He beat Sam Wilson with the American flag. Bustelo.
Holy shit. That's what the current administration feels like. They look like they're doing a DEI.
Yeah, you get them, guys. You get them. I also will say that fight scene, oh my God, I don't know if you noticed. I was sitting there. I'm always this way with the Hulk. The Hulk, do you know why I dislike the Hulk? So much collateral damage to most of the time, either in New York or DC, very old, beautiful architecture. He was fucking up the White House. Now listen, I'm not the most patriotic person in the world, but I can appreciate the history and the White House and the Washington Monument, and he just ripped his hand through like it was nothing. Pisses me
My
off.
favorite part is when he jumped, because I feel like people forget that that's part of the Hulk's abilities. He can fucking jump
and
miles
fly.
and miles and miles. And so when Sam was already booking it,
Yeah, and he's like,
and he just jumped once and was like right behind him. That your face when he jumped, you're like, holy shit!
Because damn, he was flying.
He does not skip leg day.
But I will say, the thunderclap thing that he did and the big jump, that's a Marvel Rivals. The Hulk can do both of those things.
That was in the Incredible Hulk, him doing the thunderclap.
Bustello, get your foot. I'm so sorry, guys, that you had to be here for that parenting moment. He's pissing me off.
And there was just so much when they're like going through the little wooded like foresty area.
Mm-hmm.
There's a one moment where Cap pulls on his shield, and the Hulk's just right there.
Yeah, there were some jump scares.
Yeah,
not like jump scares, but some jump scares in this film that got me a little bit. Ooh, and we watched it in IMAX, so it was fucking
loud.
Loud.
But we didn't hear the group of annoying teenagers a few rows below us. Oh my god. So that was kind of nice. But anyway, overall, I think this movie was pretty damn good. I'm gonna keep that as my rating. I think it's pretty damn good. I think it's a good time, and it did what I wanted it to do, which is get me excited to have Marvel back in the movies this year.
I agree with everything you said. Any complications that I had personally with the film wasn't enough to make me not enjoy it. It was, oh my god, guys, I'm so sorry. Would you like to say something? It was fun. The action was great.
The acting was great.
I feel like, again, they had such a tough hurdle in Falcon and Winter Soldier that they had to overcome to get to this point. And I do think that they were successful. They did not fail. It was not bad. So if that's what you were worried about, I wouldn't worry about that. I do agree with you. I think it's worth the price of admission, and it's something that I would rewatch again. I wish maybe it was like a little bit tighter, like a little bit.
Sure.
But like you said, it does make me excited for what we have coming up. And I'm really excited to see Anthony Mackie get to be Captain America and get to lead these films. And it did feel kind of like returning to a different era of the MCU that's not so multiverse focused. It felt straightforward, which I appreciated.
Surprise Bucky cameo in there. That was fun.
Oh, that wasn't a surprise.
I was surprised.
You had to know that Bucky was gonna come.
I didn't know. I didn't think about it. I was not thinking about that man. I don't think about that man as much as you think about that man.
Oh, that's crazy. I think about him every day. At least once a day. Every fucking day.
There is a post-credit scene. It's I'm not gonna lie.
You can skip it.
It's pretty lackluster. It's pretty underwhelming.
It was one of the scenes that visually I could tell was like a reshoot or an addition.
Or an old scene. Like it's either something that they like did it once and then were like, oh yeah, we could use this.
Yeah.
It's like I think it's a pretty on the nose tease that like, oh, there's gonna be some big stuff happening in the next couple of years.
But it's like
nothing specific.
It wasn't specific. Yeah, it was too vague.
Now, if it's hinting at Fantastic Four, that's the closest thing that I'm like, because like there's incursions happening and like also like it was just very vague.
Yeah. It didn't add anything.
Yeah. So,
and I don't think it'll be one of those things where it's like, oh, well, once you watch this, then this will make sense. I don't think it's anything like that.
And happen to be proven wrong eventually, but
I don't think so.
As of right now, it was just kind of a nothing burger.
And it wasn't, there was no mid-credit scene. Right. It was only an end credit scene.
You might say that was the mid-credit scene. Anyway, I'm
hungry.
Okay, well, that's our cue. Go check out Again, we gave all our thoughts. Don't listen to us.
Don't listen to us.
That was our experience with it. Those are our thoughts. We would love for you to go see it. Support this movie, support these folks. We want more movies like this. And also so they can, punch it up and get it right the first time, Yeah. But go check it out and let us know your thoughts on Captain America Brave New World. Are you excited to be back in the MCU? Where do you want to see the story go? And if you're not already, please make sure you are following us on all the various social medias. And you can also obviously you're listening to this wherever you're listening to it, but you can also watch and listen to this on YouTube and wherever you any of the major podcast streamers out there. So make sure you are following us, you are rating the episodes, sharing them, all that jazz.
I can't believe you did the whole episode in those glasses.
I don't fuck around.
With the hair pulled back, it
is it a look?
It's not bad. I mean, it's very Randy.
Oh yeah, dig it.
Yeah.
I wish the Red Hulks talk like that.
Just all the Hulks talk like that.
Hulk smash you. First I'm gonna snap into a Slim Jim and then I'm gonna snap your neck.
Unfortunately, we already have a Marvel character that does talk like that. Bonesaw.
We need the Bonesaw origin story.
Where's the Bonesaw story?
All right, we do streams every month, pre-preview. Go check those out. All right, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Peace.